Hello again.
Hey, what's going on? It's
Well, we're back to beautiful. And the conservative Supreme Court is taking a vote, I believe, this week on whether to change the status of social media platforms to make them completely responsible for everything everyone does on it. To the point where, let's say you make a YouTube video that doesn't fit the Supreme Court's idea of what should be on there,
right.
they can go after YouTube instead of you. Which means that YouTube is going to crack down on a lot of their regulations and rules and make it almost impossible for individual creators to do anything.
Yeah.
And they plan on doing that. They plan on doing that with Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. YouTube and Instagram.
Much for free speech.
Yeah, well, of course.
That's
I
how they
mean,
hammer
it's indirectly screwing free speech.
Yep.
Because if
you
you,
get hurt.
well, yeah,
Or the
that's
truth
it.
Out, one of the two.
You know, and that's what's sad about this whole thing is people, small creators are going to have just as much of a hard time as large creators now, and vice versa, because we have to, you know, if this passes, we'll have to watch every single thing we do.
Social media is the only place we can get the truth. And we can't. It's the only guaranteed place. It's available. It's out there to find. You know, I'm not saying that everything you look at is going to be the truth or whatever, but you know, at least you have a better odds of bumping into it.
Well, see, this all started.
It's gone. It's poof. They've got control over it. Forget about truth. It's gone. Evaporated.
This all started because they said that Google was recommending a platform for terrorist recruitment, and because not that they were doing it, but their algorithm did it.
Yeah.
So since their algorithm did it, they should be held personally responsible for their algorithm recommending that site or putting it higher up on the list than the government would have liked. So therefore, they're revisiting I believe it's 203, which is basically saying that because they're individual entities and they're not government entities, that they have they're publishers. Because they're publishers and not editors, they have the right to allow things on there that whether they agree to it or not, because they're not a government entity and therefore they can't limit free speech. I personally am concerned because, I mean, YouTube came out with a new thing saying that you can't swear for the first 80 seconds of your video because government pressure.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying, why? There shouldn't be a reason. You should not have an answer for that. You know, because it's not something that should even exist. You know,
you're right. But unfortunately, it does. And if that's a change that they're willing to make, what else are they willing to make to keep the government off their ass? And at what expense? Because if you do that, you're going to lose content creators, and they're going to choose a different platform.
Right.
In which case, the only thing you're going to have on here is cat videos and, trips to the zoo.
Yeah, and man, just the content getting out, it's going to get out there anyway. I don't understand why they're trying to censor anything now. It's just yeah, unless they're just picking at it, little bits here and there.
Well, it's just another way to control us, the populace.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's what I mean. They're nitpicking it now, so we don't notice.
I have a feeling that that's what they're doing. I mean, they already went after Roe v. Wade. Now, to take the heat off Roe v. Wade, let's go after the internet, and then when that gets hot, we'll go back over after.
Well, they're going after the internet because that's how Roe v. Wade got leaked to everybody. And well, no, that can't happen because now there are people that are mad at them, and they're saying bad things about them. They don't like that. Yeah, that's bad. They don't like bad things being said about them. But I mean, still, it's even whether this information gets out or not, it's whether they want to be in control of that narrative, when it gets released, how it gets released, who releases it, if it gets released at all. You know, all those things, it's got to be in their control, and then it's okay. Because even, you know, if you notice, the Boebert and Marjorie are pissed because they're being censored on Twitter. And when you read their tweets, I'm like, yes, because of that fucking tweet. That's why you're being sent. Yeah.
Well, it's like Boebert who was screaming.
It's not that type of platform.
It's like Boebert who was screaming, "It's a joke. You banned my thing for a joke." No. Whether it's a joke or not, it's inappropriate.
Right. Exactly.
You know, and they should have the ability to deem what's inappropriate.
But she's a congressperson. She can say what she wants.
Yeah, that's not how this world works. No. For now, that's not how this world works.
Yeah, I know, right.
But see, here's the question. How much is too much? They're going after this now. What's next? Go after gaming chat rooms or you know, internet chat rooms and say, hey, if you say anything that we don't like,
but for the children. Down. Oh my God, the children. And I bet you what's gonna happen is all the men in there are gonna be looked at as fucking pedophile, fucking stalker fuckers, kid fuckers. Wow.
I mean, I play video games not recently. I haven't played them in a couple months, but I play video games.
I've got a GTA account, you know. Oh my God, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, can you imagine going in there and while you're playing, talking to one of your friends about politics or something, and all of a sudden you get locked out of everything because the government doesn't like what you're saying?
Right. Or I get marked as some kind of stalker, weird, creepy kid thing.
And then all of a sudden you're on the no-fly list?
The FBI at my house.
Yeah. And also, how far is too far? How much is too much? How, you know, when do we as a collective put our foot down and say enough is enough?
Right. Well, that's why when they do this little trickle at a time, you don't notice. But when you step back and look at everything that's happening, it's quite significant, the little bits and pieces we've lost. It's pretty big now.
Yeah. I agree.
One is too much. One right is too much. That's the line for me. I don't want to lose any. You know? You know,
no, I agree with you.
Starting with the women's rights for right now. Let's start there. You know, they should have the fucking right to have you stay out of their fucking business. That's the right there. You know,
I just want to say something. When they started, because they started this whole thing with handguns and assault rifles on the floor of the house. And then they started talking about, you know, well, no one should have assault rifles, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Do you notice when this conversation started in Congress this past 2 weeks, mass shootings have gone down, but police shootings have gone up?
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way it seems, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
You know, it's because people said, okay, if we screw up again, they're really going to take our shit away. Let's put ourselves under control. And the cops went, hey, this is our chance to go kill people.
Right.
Because they're not going to be running around with that shit. It's just, you know, and the argument that, well, you know, if you take away guns, then only bad guys will have guns. Stop. Just stop.
Right.
You know, that's like saying that weed is a gateway drug, and if you let people smoke weed, it's gonna. That was another thing I heard was it's going to ruin our society and our environment if people are allowed to smoke weed and take mushrooms. It's going to make this country an eyesore. You're not going to be able to, you're going to have people, living in the streets.
Oh no, they've already bit into that tip. They're not getting rid of that now. Oh no. There's 35, 40 states, whatever, that are into selling weed. They got that money now. They ain't letting go.
They're trying to cap off the mushroom deal because they're afraid it's gonna lead to other shit getting pushed.
Yeah, but it's like Utah. I believe it's Utah anyway. Has made mushrooms legal. Mushrooms are finally legal. There's a few states where mushrooms are legal.
Right.
So whatever. Too late now. That illegal ship had sailed. Because once it starts, it's like with weed. It's just going to spread. And they're finally starting to realize the financial benefits to it. And they don't really give a shit about all the other benefits anymore. And they're kicking themselves for not taking advantage of it sooner.
Here's my argument. If weed if you can't overdose on weed and it doesn't cause cancer, then you have no business banning it. I mean, look what cigarettes do. Cigarettes cause cancer. I can't believe I'm saying this, but cigarettes cause cancer, yearly. People die from cigarette smoke.
Oh yeah.
Even secondhand. And yet that's still on the market.
Oh yeah, and pushed.
So why would you take
discounts?
Why would you take something innocuous as
alcohol too, for that matter? Kills your liver.
As weed, and say, well, this is bad. You know why? Because they want the place that they want. They want to bring back. They said they want to bring back the good old days, the 50s. With segregation.
Yep.
With drugs rampant,
illegal moonshine.
I don't understand. They said, well, abortions will be there will be less abortions if we ban it. So only 50,000 people will be getting illegal abortions instead of a couple million. So you're saving all those lives, and it's like, yeah, but you're killing all those people who are getting back alley abortions. Does 50,000, let's say it is 50,000, does 50,000 lives seem like nothing to you? Right. It's not suicide, it's murder. They're making it possible. They're making it necessary. I don't quite follow the logic. Finland, Holland, Sweden, they all have better health care and better, we are, they said married people in this country are the most unhappy of any country in the world, including Finland and Denmark.
Because we won't accept the fact that we're a socialist country, just like all those other countries. It's like Republicans, conservatives won't accept that, and we are. Our society is based on socialism, because when you give tax and you get something back that everybody else gets, like a school or a road or whatever, guess what? That's a social program.
Well, see, the thing I see
kind of implied, don't you think?
They said married couples in this country are the most unhappy of the I think we're like number 27 or something like that in unhappiness in married couples, and I can come up with an explanation for that. When they do their polls of married couples, they include same-sex marriage. People who are in same-sex marriages are unhappy because they're constantly living under the fear that it's going to be revoked, that the Supreme Court is going to change their decision on what the law actually is, and they're going to be left out in the cold again.
Well, it's also income too, because with two incomes, a couple of people should be doing great in a single situation, a combined income situation, and they're not. They're still struggling. They can't afford to take. They can go on vacation, but they go in their backyard.
Right.
They go to the local restaurant. Fuck that, man. Who can afford to go anywhere? It's bullshit. So that's part of the problem too, I think.
Well, I agree with you. And the thing is, the Supreme Court is slowly sucking our rights away, and they're slowly sucking the life out of this country to where the only people that are happy are elite white people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I have yet to hear a single black person stand up and go, I like where our country's at.
No one's free in this country. You think you might be free. I mean, you're free to come and go as you please. Yeah. Go to and from work. Go to and from work. Go to and from work. That's what we do. We don't do anything else. We go to the store once in a while.
Look at it. You come home from work at 10 o'clock. You come home from work at 10 o'clock at night. You want to go sit in the park and just relax for a little while? You can't, because all park closes at 10 o'clock.
Right, or 9, or at sundown.
Yeah. Right. Or if you're there, it's, what are you doing there? Why are you even going to the park this late? You're up to something suspicious.
Ooh, yeah.
And all of a sudden, suspicion becomes a crime.
Yep.
And this is all the way, we're going towards a dystopian future. The 1984 commercial for Apple is coming true.
Yeah, but that's something now that we see it, let's try to do something to stop it.
Well, see,
I would hope that's what this is for.
I agree with that sentiment, but we're talking about Supreme Court, which they don't get voted in, they don't get voted out, there's nothing we can really do about it.
No, there is stuff we can do about it, and yes, they can get out. They can be impeached.
Supreme Court?
Yes, they can be impeached. They do not have as I'm finding out, they do not have an ethics office. There's no place to send a complaint to, but as I'm finding out, that is something that can also be remedied by an amendment to the Constitution, which we should do. And add an ethics.
Because Republicans narrowly hold the House, I don't think that's ever going to go.
Who knows? Maybe they'll change their mind. We have to try.
The only way they'll change their mind, in my opinion, is if it affects them directly.
Some of this stuff is starting to affect them because they're noticing that the 20 around them have more power than they do, and they don't like that. They don't like that at all. Who are you to fucking piss on my parade? A lot of them don't like that either. And it shows. Some of the older, more seasoned Republicans don't like this shoving around stuff by these little newcomer punks. They don't like that. And it shows. You can see it. Grab people by the face, pulling their head back. They're showing more and more displays of public affection for one another, for lack of a better term, in public. By grabbing each other, by yelling at each other, by doing those things they normally don't do in public.
Like Mitt Romney in the State of the Union address.
Yes.
When he went and told
he was great. He was right to say that.
Santos, yeah. Mm-hmm. When he told Santos, you don't belong here.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I think more people, but we need to see more of them stand up. We need to see more of them say, okay, I'm still a Republican, I'm still conservative, but I'm more center leaning because this shit's getting wacky.
I don't know. I almost want to see people just say, I'm going all independent and leave like 4 people in the Republican Party. And clean it all out, get rid of all, and then start from scratch. Yeah, I know, right? I'm just saying, that's what they need to do. They need to burn their house down and fill it with good people again. And I'm not saying our house is much better. We got a lot of work to do in our own house.
Correct. Correct. But here's the thing. If we push, the only way we can do it successfully is if we get a couple of center-leaning Republicans to do it first successfully.
Sure.
Once they see their colleagues actually doing it, then the rest of the idiots, barring those really big idiots like Gates, Gates and Green and Bogart and all them, the rest of them will I don't want to say fall in line.
It's got to be
but
so
they'll
gerrymandering won't matter.
Right. That's the way
a
it
lot.
should be.
That's a lot.
That's the way it
Because
should
right
be.
now they can lose by a third and still win.
See, I think what should happen is it should be equal. When the next gerrymandering map should be an equal map, so that everyone has the same amount of territory and whatnot. And then and then you make that the last map. No more maps. This is it. This is the way things are going to stay. Everyone has an equal chance to win, and leave it at that.
Yeah, but you can't because of the way people move. And the way, yeah, I know, but now all of a sudden people move and now you're in the same situation. These maps have to be able to be redrawn to accommodate for that.
Do a good job in your state and people won't want to leave.
It's not a matter of leaving. Someone come from New York and moved to where my state is. I moved because my job said, we're closing this place, so quit or move. So I moved. So therefore I moved to where I think I want to move to. Now I've changed that total. And if it gets too skewed from the rest of it, it should be redrawn to make it more balanced. That's all I'm trying to say. Just so it continues to be fair, but not redrawn in such a way that you can have two people control the will of 1,000. That's not right. That's wrong. That can't happen. I can't happen. I mean, if it winds up like if two people move in the middle of an opposite party, well, whatever. That's not drawn that way. But if it's drawn that way, so that two people control that, then of course that's fucked up and needs to be redrawn. Yeah.
Well, here's the question I want to pose to everybody: if you were given the opportunity to move to a different state, not down the street,
right?
How many of you would actually leave your state? I'd like to find that out. In the meantime,
you know what? Yeah, go for it. That's fine.
No, go ahead.
No, it'd be too deep. I don't want to. Yeah.
We practice freedom of speech here, Matt. Please feel free.
I'm sorry. I'll pull it back. No, we'll get into it later. You'll see what I mean.
All right. Well, with that in mind, I want to say thank you again. It's been real. It's been nice. It's been real nice, but it's been real. And I'll see you in the funny papers.